Hello everybody. If you want all the stories content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 826, The Paper Birds. Intermediate. Every morning before the shops opened, Mira cleaned the central square of the city. She wore bright orange gloves, pushed a wide broom, and worked while the streets were still grey with dawn. Most people never noticed her. They walked across the square while looking at phones or talking to friends. Mira did not mind. She liked the quiet hour before the noise of the day began. In the middle of the square stood an old stone fountain that no longer worked. Children climbed on it in the summer, and pigeons ruled it in winter. One Monday, Mira found a paper bird on the edge of the fountain. It was folded from plain white paper, but the shape was beautiful. The wings were sharp and neat, and tiny words were written across them in blue ink. She opened it carefully. Inside was a short message. For the person who arrives first, have a good day. Mira smiled and placed the bird in her pocket. The next morning there was another one. This bird was made from yellow paper. For the person who keeps this place bright. On Wednesday, she found a green bird. For the person who works when nobody claps. Mira looked around the empty square, but she saw no one. The messages continued all week. Some were funny, some kind, and some asked questions. What music do you like? What was your happiest day? If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Mira began writing answers on the back of the birds and leaving them under the fountain after finishing work. She wrote that she liked old jazz songs. She wrote that her happiest day was when her younger brother left hospital. She wrote that she wanted to see the sea in winter. On Monday, a bluebird waited for her. The sea in winter is cold, loud, and honest. Mira laughed aloud. For 3 weeks, the strange friendship continued. She never saw the other person. They only spoke through the folded paper birds. Then one morning, there was no bird. The next day, there was none again. Mira felt foolish for missing someone she had never met, yet the square seemed emptier than before. On Friday, while sweeping near the fountain, she noticed an elderly man sitting on a bench with a bag of coloured paper beside him. His hands shook slightly as he folded a perfect white wing. Mira walked over. "Are you making birds?" she asked. The man looked up, surprised. Then he smiled. "I was wondering when you would catch me." He introduced himself as Leon. Years earlier, he had designed theatre sets and loved making things with his hands. Now his hands were slower, but they still remembered. "Why did you stop?" Mira asked. "I had flu," he said. "Also, I wanted to know if you would miss the birds." "I did," said Mira. He nodded, pleased. From then on, Mira finished work each morning and shared tea with Leon on the bench. He taught her how to fold cranes, swans, and flying fish. She taught him how to hold the paper steady when his fingers shook. By spring, the square trees were full of paper birds hanging from branches above the fountain. People stopped, looked up, and smiled. And for the first time, many of them noticed the woman with the broom. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes. Ruled. Meaning, if birds or people ruled a place, they controlled it or behaved as if it belonged to them. It can also mean having power over an area. Example, children climbed on it in summer and pigeons ruled it in winter. Similar words. Controlled, dominated, governed, owned. Extra example. During lunchtime, the teenagers ruled the basketball court and nobody else could play. Claps, meaning Claps are the sounds made when people hit their hands together to show praise or approval. Example, for the person who works when nobody claps. Similar words: applause, cheers, praise, approval. Extra example, the singer smiled when the audience gave loud claps at the end of the song. Continued, meaning if something continued, it carried on without stopping or started again after a pause. Example, for 3 weeks the strange friendship continued. Similar words: carried on, went on, lasted, persisted. Extra example, the heavy rain continued all afternoon and flooded the roads. Shook, meaning shook is the past tense of shake. It means moved quickly from side to side, often because of cold, fear, weakness or emotion. Example, his hand shook slightly as he folded a perfect white wing. Similar words: trembled, quivered, shivered, vibrated. Extra example, her hands shook with excitement as she opened the letter. Branches, meaning branches are the parts of a tree that grow out from the trunk and hold leaves, flowers or fruit. Example, by spring the square's trees were full of paper birds hanging from branches above the fountain. Similar words: limbs, boughs, stems, twigs. Extra example, snow rested heavily on the branches after the storm. Story written by ChatGPT. Image created by ChatGPT. To read, see all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.